Hi, this is Coryelle Kramer, and I am a professional metaphysical consultant for animals and people, and that is a shorter way of saying I am a professional animal communicator. I am a seer, oracle, psychic, medium, healer. A much shorter way of saying it. And I am thrilled to bring you episode 9 of the show that I'm calling The Animal Experience. And what the animal experience is that it is my way of sharing with you and all of the world weekly the things that I have, topics that I've learned with talking with the animals, for being a professional animal communicator for the last 23 years of my life. Hi, Deborah. Everyone. Hi, Anne. Thank you. Oh, Anne, it's so nice to see you, darling. My friend Anne in Santa Fe. So what I am doing here is the animal experience is about my personal experiences with talking with animals, what I've learned from them on a huge array of topics. A myriad of topics, from death to reincarnation, we've already covered, to how animals communicate, to do animals feel pain, do they grieve. I have topics that are going to be going on until about, I think now I'm set until the end of April, but I'm always looking for more topics. So if there's something that you want me to discuss, hey Jamie, love Dakota and you. So if there's something you want me to discuss, if there's a topic you've always wanted to find out from the animals or animal kind, do me a favor. I might have already covered it in my career. So, you know, it's not a big deal for me to communicate and find out the answers. If I haven't, then I just connect to animal kind, and I also connect to the animals, and you know, I just you know, a few, like my own animals, and ask them these questions. So I interview my own animals as well. So if you have a topic, let me know. The list is growing, but it is incredible, and it's all going in such a beautiful way. It's all unfolding in such a beautiful way that I don't have to really worry about, oh, this topic's got to go here. It's all unfolding perfectly, so that when I add to the list, it's just, oh yeah, this one follows that. That's perfect. So it's a lot of fun. I love watching all of that, and I hope that you're enjoying it, from your comments and your feedback, and how many people have friended me on Facebook. It seems that you are. Hey, Cheryl. Hi. Hi, Serena. So I am having a blast doing this, and I can't believe that it's been 9 weeks already, and we've covered a huge array of topics. Now, I put on the post that I did on here, I put on 2 links. One link is to the specific animal experience video, past episode video folder that I made, so that you can find it faster. Then I also gave you my YouTube channel specifically for the animal experience, because what I do is I download it, download it, and then upload it again to YouTube. So that way you guys can see it and you can view it however you want to view it. I'm also putting it on Pinterest. And it's been really, really incredible. The views that have been happening have been growing exponentially. So I'm having a huge ball with this. Hey, Kimberly. It's good to see you. Love to Bogey, Mater, the whole crew. So this is episode 9. Okay. And episode 9 follows really well with the last 2 episodes we've had. So to recap a little bit, 2 weeks ago I talked about how animals use telepathy with themselves, with us, and with other animals. as the mode of communication, as one mode of communication, besides, of course, talking and, making sounds and body language and the whole 9 yards. Then last week, I talked about mutual respect. I talked about the it factor. Things that are being used and have been used in the past to keep us separated from the animals. Even those with people with beautiful hearts, and I'm not even talking about abuse. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, the simplicity of, using words like he and she as opposed to it when you describe an animal. Even if you don't know the sex of the animal, okay? Just, as opposed to saying it, the bird, that bird over there, it's hungry. Just say she's hungry. It doesn't matter. They're not gonna, if you call them a she or a he and they're a he and a she, it doesn't matter to them, okay? So that's what I call the it factor, and how I'm still stunned about how many people who are quote unquote animal lovers. I've read books, I've heard quotes, some of them are older quotes, some of them are, really recent books, that people still use the word it. And it separates you. It separates us in our mind from the animals. And we want to gain closeness. We want to gain connection with them. And we can't do that if you're using the word it. The other thing is the word pet. For me, again, the word pet is a very derogatory word, I think. It's a low vibrating word. It means pet and owner, and you can't own another living being. It's just, you can pretend like you can. You can tell yourself, yeah, you are, but you really can't own another living being. That being is got a soul. That being has got a life's purpose. That being has got an essence about it, and you can't own that. That's divine. That's divinity. You can't own that. Even divinity doesn't own that. It belongs with divinity, but it's not owned by, our soul is not owned by divinity. It is a part of divinity. That makes sense. So, using the words pet, animal companion is a good one. Or your animals, your fur kids, your fur babies, your furkins, I don't care what you call them. Maybe having a little bit of fun with that is a good way for you to kind of like understand that words have power. So you want to make sure that you're using powerful words, not words that empower, not disempower. The other thing is that coming from a place of, they're these poor innocent creatures, they need our help. If nobody helps them, they can't help themselves. Seeing them as defenseless, helpless animals and beings is not even though it's coming from a place of good. We're not disputing that. I'm not disputing that. What I'm saying is it's a low vibrating stance of they're defenseless, and they're beings, again, seeing them as a being that a fellow being, as opposed to a being that needs constantly our help, our protection, is not doing them. It's not doing you any good, because it shuts off lines of communication. It makes you feel like afraid that you're going to hear that they're like suffering, and they're in this awful state, and they're in constant pain, and they're scared, and it closes you off. It's like trying to talk to somebody who's in a stance of fear. You can't get through to them when it's like that, if that makes sense. Hey, Zara. Nice to see you, girl. We got to hook up. Anyway, going back to what I'm saying is that, so be careful the way you see animals. Be careful of the way that you speak about them as well. So all these things add up, and they go into what we're handling and talking about, and what I'm talking about today, which is, how to hear your own animals clearly. See, all these episodes are building towards something else. And the ultimate goal is for me to instruct and maybe enlighten a little bit, some of you, maybe to help you guys to, come to a deeper, even more of a deeper connection with your animals. It's not, these videos are not about a substitute for veterinary care, or they're a substitute for, training, or they're a substitute for anything. They're just trying to enlighten, to entertain, to give you some fun, to give you some perspective, okay? So all these are building up to this one thing where, a friend of mine, Anthony Pico, he was the one who asked about this subject, and it was like, how do you hear your own animals clearly? Now, I've done animal communication sessions and animal communication workshops, both streamed and live, all over the country. Okay, also all over the world, in Europe as well. So, it's something that I'm very, very familiar with, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you some easy breezy things on what you can do so you can hear your animals clearly. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it makes sense. So let's get to it. So first of all, the first topic that I want to talk about is the animals are talking. Okay, we talked about this, and I talked about this, and they use telepathy. Animals are constantly talking to us, okay? But it's to the degree that we tune into them that we hear them. So, again, seeing them as fellow beings, not as pets, objects, beings but beings with soul purposes, with life plans. And again, I've talked about life plans and soul plans already. So you're going to want to maybe look a little bit on that, because on that past episode, because I think you'll find that interesting. So, seeing them as beings that are reasoning, that have reasonable minds, not as property, not as helpless, not as defenseless, constantly needing our help, always, we always have to be their protector. I mean, that's a lot of work, being somebody's protector 24/7. Even your own kids, you can't protect them 24/7. You got to make sure, and you got to trust in their well-being. You got to trust that they can handle themselves. You got to trust to a certain extent that they'll be okay. Because keeping them in a padded with all this, we gotta, the helmets and the pads and the things and all this kind of stuff, and it doesn't help them either. It makes them afraid of the world, if it makes sense to you. So, getting into that mindset that they can take care of themselves, they'll be okay, doesn't mean we can't take care of them. Be their caretakers, be their friends. But it just means that I don't have to worry about my animals 24/7. I love them 24/7, but I don't have to, I gotta trust in them, because my animals are indoor, outdoor, okay? And I gotta trust in that. I gotta understand that coddling them is not helping them. Keeping them, for me, only for me, keeping them inside is going to drive them crazy, it's going to drive me crazy, and it's going to make them unhappy. So I have to trust them that they can take care of themselves, because they can. They've been doing it for a few years now. Nobody's injured. Everybody's still alive. Yay. Okay? So animals are talking. So, and they're also, all this stuff goes a long way to opening up the door of communication and widening it so you can hear them even more, coming from this stance, or one of these stances. So animals are telepathic. We covered this 2 weeks ago, okay? Animals are telepathic, and remember, so are we. Every being on this planet is telepathic, because it's energy. Again, I explained this in the past episode 2 weeks ago, what telepathy is. It's really and truly energy traveling across a distance. All right, so it's your thoughts traveling to another animal across the distance. There you go. So people are telepathic, just like animals are telepathic. So quieting the mind is the second important step into beginning to hear your animals. You have to start to quiet your mind. How do you do that? A lot of ways. Meditation, quiet contemplation, listening to music that really uplifts you, makes you happy, gladdens you, that feels like it's turning you, really and truly opening up your chakras. And I'll explain more about the chakras in a little bit. Doing things that inspire you, creativity, communing with nature, we're talking about the chakras a second, so learning about the chakras, the ones that are directly connected to communication. That could be the crown chakra, it could be the third eye, which is between your eyebrows, the throat chakra, of course, the heart chakra. Okay, these are the main ways of communication, everything from the heart up. All right, the ones down are usually about desires, wants, personal power, root chakras, about grounding yourself, but doing things like that, and finding ways that make you feel happy. When you're in a stance of happiness, when you're in the stance of connectedness, when you're in the stance of worthiness, you are tapped in, tuned in, turned on. All right? So that's the stance we want to come in, because that's the stance that the animals are in a lot of the time. So the next thing I want to talk about is, so the animals are talking, the heart is listening. What do I mean by that? So in the beginning, when talking to animals, surprisingly, it's the heart chakra, not the head, that does the communicating. When you're starting out, it's the heart that's your go-to, not the head. We have a tendency to think it's the head because it's telepathy, but telepathy works through the heart, all right, if that makes sense. Telepathy works through the heart. Prophecy, okay, being able to see into the future, that works through the head. All right, and also connection to the divine works through the head, from the head and going into the heart. All right, so the heart is the way to go. The rest of the chakras later on will come into play. Like when I do a session now for somebody, whether it's for them or for their animal, all my chakras are open. I can feel them all vibrating. They're all open. But in the beginning, I was told, actually by a donkey, no kidding, I swear to God, that it's the heart that we go into. So the heart gives us access to unconditional love. Okay? It's where it all resides. It's where we can, with practice, all right, you can come from a stance of one being simply talking to another. Okay, there's this unconditional love, and with the unconditional love, there's of course no conditions, there's no exceptions, there's no expectations. It's just pure electric heart energy. So that takes a while, because that takes a little bit of fine tuning, because you want to get to a stance of pure loving that being for the divinity within. Not because you think that being is better than you or that being is less than you, but because you think that you just want to connect that to that being on this one-to-one basis, this one-to-one level, if that makes sense. You clear out the need for the expectations and all that other kind of stuff. It's just because it's just pure love of divinity within. And what does that divinity have to share with you? Your divinity, so to speak. So, what am I trying to say? Yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So you would think the place of communication would be the third eye or would be the throat chakra. But when you're dealing with animals, when you come from a stance of pure love, you can hear the animals speaking to you without any problem at all. And that's the way the animals see us. They see us as this Christ-like, for want of a better way of saying it, this Christ-like, I love you purely because I see the divine within you. and your possibilities, and I want to connect to that. So more ways of how do you tap into that even more? You have to release the wanting of it. Now, many times, the more you want something, the more you block it up from and keep it from manifesting, okay? Because we want it. We're more aware of not having it than we are of what we already have. So that blocks us up, if that makes sense. It's kind of like, think about it like a pipe, like I explained before in the other episodes. It's like your connection to the animals is like a pipe. The clearer it is, the less you get out of your way, the clearer and the easier the stream comes through. All right? So if you want it too much, I really, really want this, you're blocked up. If you're saying to yourself, something, this would really be nice. Let's see what happens. I'm going to connect to my animal. Let's see what happens. I'm going to connect to the animals in nature. Let's see what happens. It gives you this back and forth, this flow, as opposed to, I really want it, and I'm going to make this happen, and it's going to block you up, okay? So release the wanting of it. Most important thing is, in the beginning, when you first do this, do not ask the tough questions, okay? You're not going to hear the answers. If there's health issues, do not ask your animal, because even me, being a professional animal communicator, there are some animal communicators who are my friends I have to go to and ask about my animals if there's health issues, because I know I'm too invested in the answer. If you're too invested in the answer, you're not going to hear it. If you're too invested in the question, you're not going to hear the answer. If that makes sense. Because again, it goes into that wanting of it. I'm afraid I'm going to hear something that I don't want to hear. So that blocks you up. So I have to get into, I have to speak to my own animal communication friends. What are you getting on my cat Sam? Why is he, what's going on with him? So if you don't ask the tough questions, don't ask what's the meaning of life, you're not going to hear it. What's going on with your health? You're not going to hear it. Are you happy? You're not going to hear it yet. Ask the easy questions. What's your favorite season? What's your favorite thing to do? What's your favorite color? What do you like your food? Stuff you're not so invested in hearing what they have to say back to you, because you'll be able to hear it, all right, more easy. Be easy about it. Have fun with it. And here's the tip, okay, and I'll go more into this a little bit. You have to get out of the logical mind. The logical mind is going to tell you in the beginning. Now, not that it's not now, but because it's your animal, it's more of a habit now, so the logical mind doesn't come in as much when you talk to them, but it kind of justifies why you're talking to them. For example, I'm talking to my cat now because I wanted to make sure he's not hungry. Or I'm talking to my cat now because he's my companion and I love him, but it's like if you put a but after anything, all right, it's usually you're trying to justify something. Okay, so, I'm talking to my dog now, but, everybody talks to their dog when they're, that's not a big deal. It's kind of justifying it. So your logical mind is kind of coming in and justifying, making sure it's okay. Now, when you start to begin to really talk to your animals, really no holds barred, or the animal kingdom, your logical mind is going to come in a lot. And it's going to tell you, you're crazy. You are a kookaboo. What the heck are you doing? You're talking to a finch. You're talking to an ant. You're talking to a horse. You're not getting what you're getting. You're making this up. You got a great imagination. You're a liar. You're crazy. You're nuts. it's all going to come in. So expect that, all right? And talk yourself down off the ledge, because again, don't let that hinder you. Don't let it keep you from doing what you need to do. Okay? So, doing it, how to do it like a pro. Yeah, that didn't sound right. How to talk to the animals like a professional animal communicator. Okay, so how to do what I do. All right, so what I do when I talk to the animals, it changes. It's changed. Honestly, it's changed a lot since I've first started all these years ago. Now, I've been doing it, I tell people, professionally for 23 years, and I'm professionally been doing it since I was a kid. So I've been doing it a little while. I'm not going to tell you how long, because I don't believe in age. So it's changed over the years. So what I started with is not quite what I'm doing now. It is, but it's been taken to the next level. As I expanded, so has my own technique. What I do now is really, really, strong. It's instantaneous and is extremely powerful. But at first my first thing was what I call the heart-to-heart method. That's why the heart is so important, right? So what is the heart-to-heart method? Real simple. It is concentrating on your heart chakra, putting your attention, getting into a quiet stance, first of all, or a quiet space, and concentrating very gently on the heart chakra. And then what I tell people is I ask them to envision doors on their heart. And the doors can look however. You can have as much fun with it as you want. They can be stained glass, they can be gold, they can be silver, they can be embossed, they can be wooden, it can be a log cabin door, I don't care. But what you do is you envision the doors opening up. And as the doors open up, you see and envision your heart chakra. And it's pulsating, and it's glowing, and it's moving, and it's shaking, and it's doing, okay? You can see all this energy. Then what you can do is, if you're sitting quietly, if your animal is with you, it's fine. Otherwise, if they're not, you don't have to drag them with you, okay? Just sit next to you. Here, you got to sit next to me, okay, while I do this. Again, it's like a pipe, so you want to be easy breezy about it. So the beautiful thing about this technique is it's, again, across a distance. Visualization across the distance, like telepathy, only it's a visualization, so it's a little bit more powerful. So what I tell people is you then, once your doors open up, envision this gold thread. And the gold thread is coming out of your heart, beautiful gold thread, coming out of your heart and going straight into your animal's heart chakra. Going straight into your animal's heart chakra. I don't know if I said that right. So that connects you. Now feel that. What does that feel like? And that is a really beautiful thing. And that's communication, bare bones right there and then. But what you can do then is you can then send your question across that thread. See it coming out of your heart, going into your animal's heart. And then, if you want to, you can see the question coming back over the thread, or the answer coming back over the thread going into your heart. Or you could just feel it coming into your head. Now, here's the trick. The trick is this. The first thing you get is the answer. Every single time. The second thing you get is your logical mind trying to justify what you just got. So, sending a question across to, okay, so I'll connect to Jamie's dog, Coda, because she just commented, so she's in my thing. So I'm seeing myself connecting to Coda, sending across my question, getting the first thing back, and immediately I want to say blue. Not just blue, light blue, sky blue, turquoise blue. And I asked what was Coda's favorite color. Turquoise blue. Light blue, turquoise blue. He thinks it looks beautiful on his skin with his fur. So, that's what I'm talking about. Now, the second thing that I got was red. Now, it's usually, you can usually tell when it's your intuition and when it's telepathy and when it's communication, because it's going to feel like this. Blue, no, green, no yellow, blue, no greenish blue. There's hesitation. When you're connected intuitively, when you're connected telepathically, Jamie's laughing. When you're connected telepathically, it's this pure communication flowing right through the pipe. That's why I say envision a pipe. It's like this whoosh. There's no hesitation. There's no second guessing. There's no doubt. And it's just this pure communication. It's what I call the water slide. When I am tapped in to an animal and I am getting some major communications coming in, it is incredible. It is like this flow of just pure information just coming in. My logical mind is nowhere near the vicinity. Why? When I am connected to an animal and it is telepathic, it is a constant stream of information coming in. Okay, so I said coda, like I said, coda. Light blue, turquoise blue. Why? Because it looks really, really good on his skin. He loves it next to his skin. It makes him happy, makes him feel connected. It makes him feel like he's communicating with the world around him, and he loves that. Now, my logical mind comes in, and listen to how it differs. Coda's favorite color is yellow. Why? Because it makes him happy. Because it makes him think of the sun. Because it makes him think of kids. See the hesitation? There's a hesitation. There's not, that's a sign that your logical mind is coming in. So your logical mind's got no place in telepathy because it's trying to justify and make sense of what you're getting. Can't make sense with this stuff. You got to go all intuition. So that's the difference. That's how you know. It's a mind kind of like play, but you can rely on the fact of when it's pure, when it just comes whooshing in, that's your sign that your intuition is on board. Your telepathy is on board. The logical mind has left the building, just like Elvis. So I have some questions coming up, so I want to answer these first. So hang on one second. Boop, 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 boop. Karen, I'm wondering about foods. Peanut has been interested in roasted cauliflower and homemade kale chips lately, but I think his favorite thing is salmon. Yes. His body is craving these things because vitamin-wise, they need it. He needs it. He knows it needs it. It's got a lot of iron in it. It's got a lot of omega-3s in it. And it's helping him feel more stronger, being able to really and truly, his body to really recuperate from all the things it needs to recuperate from. It gives him a new strength, feeling of strength, and also clarity in his mind. He feels much more clear in his mind. So that's what Karen was saying. Adele, so do you feel it or hear it? Both. That's a good question. I forgot about that. I can't, look, I'm trying to cover an animal communication class in hopefully 30 minutes or 40 minutes or less. So bear with me. Okay, usually my classes are like 2 to 4 hours, depending. You will, the more that you rely on your intuition, the more that you, the more, how do I say this without giving too much away? Hang on one second. I don't know how to say it without giving too much away. Okay, look, there's a test. It's called the VARK test. It's what I give to all of my psychic awareness people, animal communication students. It's called the VARK test. It shows you how I found this test years ago. It shows you how you process education, how you learn, okay? How you learn. Are you kinesthetic? Are you digital? Are you audio? Are you visual? And interestingly enough, years ago, I discovered there was a correlation between how we learn and how we receive information when we do intuition or intuitive stuff. It's the same. It's still processing information. So the VARK test is great because it will show you what your strengths are in the beginning. It will show you whether you're auditory and visual or both, close enough so that you can rely on both. It will let you know if you're kinesthetic. It will let you know if you're digital. And the thing of it is that you can use that to rely on the information that you're getting, that you're processing. So you know what you go to. I know I'm a visual person, or I used to be now I'm open to everything, but I'm a visual person. I'm also very auditory. I was almost 50-50 auditory to visual. So I knew that what I was hearing, I could rely on. What I was seeing in my third eye, in my mind's eye, I could do it. What I was feeling empathically as well was coming through. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Okay, so the VARK test is a great way for you to learn what your strengths are, and then you can start relying on it. So thank you, Adele, for asking me that question. Okay, Karen said she just did the gold thread thing with Mimi's, and she was napping, and I asked her what you're dreaming of, and I got bacon. There you go. All right. Jamie said, is it the same process when you are connected to an animal that is past? Yes, to a certain extent, it is. It is. You can use it the same way. You have to, though, it's tweaked a little bit more. Because again, until you get really used to it, your conscious mind is good at coming, especially talking to an animal that's dead, which there is no death, so that's why I use dead. It's a joke. It's a joke word. Because your conscious mind is going to be like, oh, great, this is great. Not only are you talking to an animal, you're talking to a dead horse. Uh-huh. Yeah. So, you know, you got to kind of play with it a little bit. Okay, anybody else have any questions? No. Okay, so I'm going to move on. So here we go. So that's how I do it, all right? So what I want to say is that on my site, if you want to know more about it, if you want to go deeper with the heart-to-heart, okay, technique, on my site, www.coryellekramer.com, in my shop is the meditations room. And in the meditation room, there's 4 or 5 different meditations, one of which is called the heart-to-heart. And the heart-to-heart is me in, I think it's 8 or 9 minutes, showing you this technique, going really, really into depth with it, and doing it so that you can visualize it, and you can download it, and you can listen to it again and again and again and again and again. So, that's essentially how you hear your animals clearly. You got to learn how to get out of your own way, you got to learn how to tap in, and then you got to learn how to trust. Not always easy, but the more you do it, the stronger you're going to get. I tell people that it is, animal communication has, as you can see by this show, has brought an incredible amount of things to my life. It has brought an incredible amount of experiences, knowledge, wisdom, and it is what the animals are. The animals know we can do it. They're rooting for us. You know, they know we can do it. And it's kind of like time, too. I'm not saying you all have to become professional animal communicators. You can just leave that to me. But what I am saying is that if you really learn how to tap into and get out of your own way, tap into telepathy, and tap into and find your own techniques on how to do it, your relationship with your animal, if you think it's good now, ooh, baby, it's going to get even better, all right? And that's what I want for you. I want you guys to be able to have an even deeper relationship with your animals, to not be afraid of the answers, because when we come from a stance of fear, we forget. You know, we don't allow ourselves, we forget to listen, and we don't allow ourselves to hear it, and we cut ourselves off. which is why I asked the tough questions of like the sustenance animals. And I tried to come from as neutral a stance as I possibly could, because they had so much to share, and it was not an answer I thought I was going to get. You know, I was kind of shocked. But it's amazing that they have such love of themselves and have such love of us, that they're willing to sacrifice the way they do. You know, as long as we honor it. You know, and again, you can watch that episode. So, Alessandra, they are very good at telling me it's time to eat, and Fenris says whole milk is better than skim. Yeah, I'm not surprised at that. Okay, I mean, thank God we don't give them, I mean, I don't know. I don't give my cats almond milk because I know they'd be like, yeah, seriously, what the heck? First off, how do you milk an almond? Okay, I don't know. Anyway, so I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I hope that this episode helps you in your relationship with your own animals. I hope it brings you even stronger and closer together. I thank you all for joining me live. This is amazing. At one point I had over 23 people. So that's pretty darn cool. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. Whether you're watching live, whether you're watching later on YouTube, I don't care. I just love the fact that you're watching it. I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm having a ball with it. Next week, just so that you know, I'm excited about all these topics. I think it's really busting the animal communication world wide open. I think it is anyway. But next week is going to be something. I keep saying that every week, but next week is going to be something. Next week is about the law of attraction, or what some people like to say, LOA for short. What is it? And do the animals know about it? And what do they know about it if they do? So there's a lot of stuff, and it's extremely interesting. Now, this episode that's coming up is going to be really a great gateway into the episodes that are going to be coming later on. So if you can't watch it live, if you can't, I would suggest you watch it later, because it's going to be really, really important. And I'm not just tooting this my own horn. I'm telling you, this is going to be a lot of people who sent me their questions. It stems a lot from the next episode on law of attraction. So Jamie's like, woohoo! So all the vids you viewed can be found again on my personal Facebook page. They can be found on YouTube. I sent the links to both in this comment of this post. So you can find them there. So for a session, please go, or a reading for either you or your animal, you can find me on my site at www.coryellekramer.com. Again, that's where you can get the heart-to-heart meditation if you wish to download it. Send me an email at mail@coryellekramer.com, or find me on Facebook, on Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, all Coryelle Kramer. And I will look forward to, and if you guys have a subject you want me to know about, or you want me to discuss, send it to me. Send it, email, Facebook, whatever, I don't care. Just send it to me, because I'm loving how many topics I got. And you guys are thinking of stuff that I haven't even thought of. So I send you all and your animals much love, and I will see you next week. Bye.